so you don't have a clue. What a brilliant song. Anyway, now I'm joined on the phone by Diane Rowles. Good morning.
Good morning, Thomas. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. How's the weather over there?
It's snowing today. It's absolutely freezing.
Oh my God. I mean, we usually don't get really harsh winters here. You know, we more have everything's raining in our neck of the woods. But we have quite sort of a calm climate during winter, you know, not too harsh. In any case, we know each other from Facebook. Just to say to the people here listening, that your name is Diane Rowles, you're apparently British, and you moved to Romania, and there you the street rescue. And I know from sort of the research and just being on your site, that this is such an overwhelming task. What brought you to Romania in the first place?
Bulgaria.
Sorry, but that's what I meant. Bulgaria. Always been.
Well, we had a village pub in Scotland which was struggling, as all village pubs were. So we just decided we needed to get away. We wanted somewhere in the mountains, near the forest, quieter life, safer life for the children. And at the time it was like fairly reasonably priced, so we decided to give it a go.
Okay, and how long ago was that?
That was just over 2 years ago.
All right, and then so I personally don't believe that anything happens by chance. So some bigger, greater force must have brought you there. in a sense, when did you start seeing that there are issues and saying, you know, to yourself, we have to do something about it?
We'd only been here just over a week, and my youngest son befriended a street dog. Probably the first time in its life this dog had been shown any kindness, so it wouldn't leave it. We're staying outside the house day and night waiting for him, and we witnessed like the abuse that this dog took, people throwing stones and sticks at it. So he was the first one that we took in.
Okay, I mean the main issue with everybody that I talk to these days is the funding. So so that must be a biggie, because I know from your website that a lot of times, oftentimes, you actually transport them to Holland to give them a better future, sort of over there, and then, you know, caring for them, vaccination, neutering, the whole 9 yards. Are you funded at all by Bulgarian government, or how does this usually work?
No, the only funding we get is through private donations. We've applied to the municipality for help with funding, help with land. They won't give us any help.
All right. Then how many animals, in sort of on average, do you have?
At the moment, we only have 18. Within a couple of days, that could change. We may have 40.
So it is a bit of a problem for you down there. And why is it that the streets are sort of roamed by them? Is it really that they don't neutralize? Do they not believe in it, or is it just that they don't? I mean, you're from the UK, and I always mention that because when you look at, I've been living here for 9 years. I love the Irish, you know. Don't get me wrong. Rights, we're way beyond the UK. So for you going to Bulgaria and then seeing this neglect must have come as quite a shock.
Yes, it was a shock. I mean, to see them, some of them are so thin, absolutely starving. But the biggest shock is when you see people being deliberately cruel.
Yeah.
If they don't like the dogs, they can just ignore them, walk past them. But when people go out of the way to kick them, throw things at them, that is the biggest shock.
And we also, I used to work as a social worker before I sort of became a pet psychologist, and we know that animal cruelty is actually an indicator crime. So, you know, there is quite a lot to be said about the people that do that, because they might not stop.
So, yeah, it is a concern, especially when you see children. You know, you can see them playing football with kittens, puppies, kicking them about, and they're just totally immune to the suffering.
I mean, one of the things that you probably will do in the future is go to schools or whatever you do education-wise. Do you have ideas around that?
I think what we're hoping to do is to maybe take a street dog into the school with us, you know, a puppy, let the children touch the dog. Many of the children have never even touched a dog. We'll get 12, 14-year-old children that will see us feeding a dog, stroking it. They'll come up and they're so scared but then eventually they will touch it, and that is the first time in their lives they have touched a dog.
And how
so it is getting... Sorry?
No, sorry, just keep on going.
I said it's getting the message through to the children, catch them while they're young, that not all the dogs are going to attack them, that they don't all carry disease.
So there's this stigma attached, apparently, then, that every dog is sort of a dirty thing. Is that how this goes there?
Sorry, I can't hear you very well.
No, what I'm saying is apparently there's a stigma attached to dogs, that they are sort of dirty or whatever. It's quite surprising, isn't it, that people have no sort of basic understanding of canines that we usually witness in most places in Europe. How problematic is it for you? Because you have to learn the language now, isn't it? Is there a big language barrier?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Thomas.
Is there a big language barrier for you when you talk to people? You had to learn the language first, isn't it?
Sorry, I was learning the language.
Yeah, yes, you had to learn the language of the country first, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, we're lucky that the children have picked up the language a lot quicker than we have. So that's a good thing, because at least the children, will talk to other children and explain to them, and children will copy other children, so that's a big help.
Have you ever regretted going to Bulgaria now that you're in this, basically, at least head deep into the work that you do now?
I think the only time I regretted it was not long after we moved here, when we took Ranger in. We had so many problems. We had one person firing a shotgun at him while my two sons were holding him.
Oh my God.
The guy then took his shotgun back and came up with a handgun and was waving his handgun at me and shouting.
Wow.
And then I thought, what on earth have I done? I want to go back to the UK.
Well,
now that we have... Sorry.
I'm just glad that you didn't.
No.
I'm glad that you didn't, because I mean that's one of the intentions is to scare you away. But you stood your ground, which I think is quite important in a way. Let me ask you a bit about the funding side of things. I know that you sometimes sort of fundraise money, or you need money. How much does it really cost you to run this sort of shelter of yours?
Well, at the moment we don't have a shelter, so we're just running things from our own home.
Yeah.
I mean, the only outlay at the moment really is food and vet fees. We're spending about €500 a month on food, €300 on vet fees. Obviously, when we get a shelter, there will be running costs.
Yeah. And also,
until we know. Sorry.
No, I was just saying it also needs to be said that even though in our sort of ears that sounds quite reasonable, but when you look at your costs, the income in Bulgaria is way less than it would be in the UK or Ireland. So when you say you have €300 vet costs, that's actually quite a substantial amount when you sort of look at it with regards to the income in Bulgaria, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So how can we help? Is there a website? Is there PayPal options? How can people get in touch with you guys and help?
We've got the website www.streetdogrescue.com. There is a how you can help page on there. There's donate buttons for one-off donations. There's a sponsor a dog page if somebody would like to pay towards a dog's monthly food costs. Also on the web store now, we have things where you can pay for a dog's vaccinations, castration, and there's also other ways that people can help, either